Hello, everyone. Hey there, astral travelers and wayfarers. Welcome back to the Astral Tourist Podcast, the show where we journey beyond the physical world and into the far reaches of the cosmos. What if the astral plane had a cosmic shopping mall where gravity wasn't just a feeling, but an entire experience you had to navigate? Well, today's episode is a special blast from the past, from an astral projection I had back on September 15th, 2021. So keep your astral passports handy, because we are about to phase right into the Phinnean Code World. When I became lucid again in the astral, I found myself in yet another astral mall. But this time it felt different. I always say it feels different because, well, it usually does. I have so many varying experiences in the astral. Right away, I could tell the gravity on this planet was far heavier than anything I was used to. It wasn't just the weight of the atmosphere. It felt like it was pressing in on me from all sides and also kind of into me. I didn't want to resist it too much. I didn't want to not acknowledge it. It was an odd feeling, this type of gravity. And I wasn't sure how long I would be able to explore before it became too much to kind of micromanage. I felt like I was micromanaging it with all of my various astral senses. But I was determined to push through. There's always this kind of balance you have to strike with the vibratory rate of the space you're in the astral, and that just took me some time. So inside the mall, everything was alive with energy. The walls were made up of granite and stones. Some I couldn't identify, and some of the shops glowed with neon, pulsing with a strange kind of energy. I could almost feel the pulse of the place, like it was beating in sync with some greater cosmic force, and kind of really me along with it. Again, I'm still micromanaging the gravity and trying to make sure I'm synced up with this place. It was still feeling kind of odd to me. The atmosphere felt highly technical and futuristic, but I couldn't quite place where or when in time it might exist. So I was just getting my bearings when I looked down at my hands. That's one of the things you can do when you want to help get your bearings and just look around and see how things are. You can look at your hands. I was wearing glowing white silk gloves with intricate cuffs and stitches. Next level cosmic fashion here, cosmic couture. And as if that wasn't enough, my fingers were draped in jewelry. And not just a small ring or two. We are talking, in particular, a massive citrine ring, heavier than my whole hand in the physical world. A dazzling diamond also that could probably blind a few stars, and an iridescent stone that shimmered in every color of the rainbow. I mean, with these gloves and gems, my hands were practically radiating opulence. The citrine definitely stood out. I mean, that was like the big sign of something, or I bought it at one of these astral malls. In the shops, I don't know. But that one was the glaring symbol on my glove. So as I'm minding my own business, floating through this surreal mall, I didn't have much time to dwell on my new accessories, even though I kind of wanted to, because things were about to get even stranger. With my 360 astral vision, I spotted a woman on the small side, maybe 3 or 4 feet tall, rolling around in a heavy-looking chair. But here's the kicker. This wasn't your standard rolling chair or a wheelchair. It seemed to function like a gravity stabilizer. The gravity on this planet was intense enough to crush a human astronaut for sure, So I'm guessing she needed the chair just to stay grounded. Maybe just as a mental thing. I don't know. But how wild is that? And clever too. What a neat little trick. I spotted her because she was zooming straight at me at high speed. I kind of wanted to look at my gloves some more and the rings and everything, but she was coming at me really fast. And when she reached me, she somehow scooped me up onto her lap. Yeah, like I was floating there in the astral and then, swoosh on her lap. No warning. I'm just being there with her on her lap. And then telepathically, she says, "We're just making some distance." And I'm thinking, wait, making distance from what? From who? But hey, it's the astral plane, boundaries, right? I guess sometimes those are more like suggestions to some people, but most people are very polite and observe the general rules of a space. So I was thinking perhaps she had perceived some disturbance in the area that I may have missed because I was all fascinated with my gloves and the jewels and everything. She was telepathing super fast, but I could tell she had good intentions. So you could say I just rolled with it and with her. For part of our gravity chair ride, she told me about her world. I don't even think I had to ask. Like maybe she just knew I would already want to know. I don't know, but she was already going there. It was so fast. Her world is famous for a cosmic phenomenon she called the jewel in the sky. At least that's how it translated. Remember, our minds are always translating. So I'm thinking, okay, this is some next level cosmic sky bling, right? But she clarified that the jewel is actually a type of enormous cosmic cloud phenomenon, space cloud phenomenon, with various types of particles. So this is a phenomenon that they've sent like actual probes or technology into and have collected samples. After explaining all this and making sure we'd put plenty of distance between us and whatever she thought might be a threat, she politely said goodbye, almost as fast as she had scooped me up, and dropped me off in a completely different section of the mall. I decided to ask a man who looked human and was wearing comfortable blue pajamas about the name of this world or mall. I was interested in anything I could get, any kind of information at all. And so far I had basically discovered information that the other lady had told me about her world, but not the one we were on. So this man had short dark hair and a relaxed casual vibe. He guided me over to a massive slab of granite completely covered in strange writing and symbols. It was clearly the anchor for this location. So some astral locales have what we should call an anchor. That means somebody is putting energy there on purpose to help the place last and last and last. They want it to be somewhere others can visit and continue visiting. And so they anchor it in and they put a lot of energy into it for this to be able to stay stable. So the alien font on this slab was so intricate and complex that it felt completely untranslatable, uncrackable. And the man in the blue pajamas telepathically explained that a mathematician from another world had managed to translate a short summary. The Phinnean Code World. The Phinnean Code World. My tongue is still getting tongue-tied because that's how it was in the astral too. And when I'm trying to recount these visits, I go back and I'm kind of put myself there at the same time as I'm here to give you the best experience possible because you're tagging along. And so that's what I got. I mean, it was weird like that. I'll try it again. The Phinnean Code World. That's the best translation I could get from what he was sharing with me telepathically. Remember, this is all telepathic. And there was more to it. Along with a cultural explanation, all in the intricate code. And he was going on and on about the cultural part, because the mathematician could get part of it, but not enough to really, for him to make it out. And apparently there are some notes somewhere else in this mall that this mathematician made. But it all comes down to it being the Phinnean Code. It's got a nice ring, doesn't it? Like something straight out of a sci-fi epic, a mystery to be solved as well. It feels like a mystery, waiting to be solved, of course, but not by me. I don't think I would ever figure that one out. I thanked him for taking the time to show it to me and explain as much as he could. He was really very patient with me. Now that I finally had a name for the place, I floated over to a floor-to-ceiling window on my left to take a look at the view outside of the mall. The sun was blazing down on a bright desert. The mall was nestled inside and surrounded by massive boulders. Some looked like they might be giant white quartz and granite formations. More boulders of all sizes dotted the desert, and when I say dotted, take that with a grain of salt. These were all enormous, more like mountains, but they looked like boulders. And these were stretching as far as I could see, and I felt like I was getting more than a panoramic view. I felt like I was getting like a three-way camera image somehow in my mind, not really 360. I could see them like as dotted in one mental picture that I was getting, as mountains in another image, and as the like really heavy quartz granite in another one. And so I felt like my brain was like compiling these images, and it wasn't sure how to show it to me, and I was getting these various images. And so I'm just describing things as best as I was able to observe and as best as my mind was able to interpret them. You know, my hope is one day some of these observations will actually match up with our technology and what we can see when we send out probes and cameras into the spacey skies. And, you know, maybe we'll get an image like that back and I'll be like, oh, I saw that one. I know, I'm like daydreaming now, right? Anyway, many of these formations were loaded with sparkling gems jutting right out of them. I guess my thoughts weren't exactly quiet, because someone drifting by casually mentioned that the planet was also home to many caves, which were jam-packed with gems embedded in their walls. And this person sent me a telepathic image, like, oh, go here if you can, you know, like talk about a travel buddy. I want that person to be one, but they kept on going by me, and they were just giving me a little bit of a travel tip. From one tourist to another, I got really curious. So I could tell I was about to wake up soon, and I decided to phase on through that window and take a quick peek outside. I wanted to see, like, how far can I go? Maybe I can find one of these caves really quick before I wake up. I didn't know. But the gravity on this planet was much heavier than it had been inside the protected mall area, and it immediately pulled my astral body down into the sand. I just relaxed into it, not fighting the pull. It felt warm and comforting as it slowly drew me deeper in. I mean, yeah, I wanted to do more, but I know when enough is enough. I thought of it like the planet giving me a really warm hug. I could tell and observe the temperature was noticeably hotter. Like, I don't know how much hotter, but I could tell this was a super hot planet. But it felt perfect for me. The sand was warm. I was sinking on into it. I did not sink too far before I was pulled back to my physical body and woke up. And with that, our journey through the Phinnean Code World comes to a close. I feel this astral mall functioned also as a liminal space, an in-between zone, a kind of buffer area where astral travelers could momentarily escape the crushing weight of the world outside. It was still pretty heavy in there, but man, not nearly as heavy as outside. A place where gravity, gems, and cosmic wonders come together in a way that leaves us with more questions than answers. Thanks for drifting through this astral experience with me. If you enjoyed today's adventure, please subscribe, like, and share it with others who might want to join in on the fun. Until next time, happy astral travels.